Hi, this is Roxy Rose again, and as promised, I'm going to try and stay on track and keep making videos. This particular video, well, if you don't already know, most all my videos have to do with transitioning late in life and overcoming some of the obstacles that us transsexuals and transgender women and men have. Today's topic, though, covers ground that really is applicable to young and old transitioners. It has to do with the male and the female persona, or getting in touch with your male or female side. Oh, you know what? Before I get started, I want to introduce you to, well, Rosie. This is my cockatoo. She's somewhat of a new addition to my family. She came from a home where they didn't really have much time for her, so she needed the company, and I desperately needed the company too. And hopefully she'll behave herself throughout the video. But I tend to be long-winded and ramble, so the likelihood of that is slim. Anyways, what I want to talk to you about today is the female and the male side of one's subconscious or persona. In a lot of cultures, they have teachings of the female and male side, and they acknowledge the existence of such. You've heard it always said about, to a guy. They always talk about a guy has to get in touch with their feminine side. Well, the same goes for a woman, too. But you never hear that said. And I was lucky enough to get a hold of a counselor that taught me a bit about certain things regarding what he referred to as the Anima and the Animus. And, the Anima is the feminine inner, or the feminine subconscious of the male, and the Animus is the masculine side, or the masculine inner conscious of the female. And with both the Anima and the Animus, there are 4 distinct stages of progression, or it's something that has to grow within inside you. And for some people it never does, and for others it matures very rapidly and almost instinctively. And to give you an example, the first stage of Anima, the female side in the male, would be referred to as Eve. Of course, taken from the biblical character of Eve, of Adam and Eve. And that is like the first stage, which most males are at. And that will give a male his opinion of a woman, and that will make the woman a object of desire for the male, and that also dictates how the male will look at a woman, and how he perceives her, and also how he treats her. And as the stages progress, and the female side, or the Anima, is encouraged to grow, then the male and the Anima inside of the male changes the way that the male will perceive a female, and it changes the way a male perceives life in general. And that will cause a male, for instance, to be creative, because creativity is somewhat of a female trait. And there's just so much to learn. It's very difficult to learn all there is about these female and male traits, or the Anima and the Animus. And I have met several transgender women and men, but mostly I've met transgender women. And what happens during transition? you are just full, you just need attention, don't you? What happens is that when you transition, I'm sorry, she is a distraction. But what happens with the transgender woman is, you know, they may be an auto mechanic before they transition. And why they ended up being an auto mechanic, it really doesn't matter. That's not the point. But they may be an auto mechanic. And they may transition and feel like they have to shed that persona completely. And in fact, they'll go from being a auto mechanic, or some like to affectionately refer to those as grease monkeys. And then they'll go to the other extreme of being a clerk at the cosmetic counter in Macy's, which that's all fine. It really is, providing you do it and it's not harmful to your household environment, you know, financially, or that you could make the transition both. You know, from male to female, and also make the transition as far as job goes without being too destructive, or you know, without causing too much disruption in your family household, if that's what you're dealing with. But what I want to talk about is actually, and one of the things that inspired this video today was yesterday. I had put off repairing something on the truck for quite a long time. I was dealing with a fuel leak, and it was leaving little puddles of fuel everywhere I went. And not only is that economically not a good idea, but also you know, it caused a mess. And so I put it off as long. Yes, I think you're pretty too. I put it off as long as I could, and I finally got around to doing it. Well, yesterday I was, and it was very difficult to get to this fuel leak because it was on top of the gas tank. And so I was underneath the truck, and it's a diesel truck. So anytime you even look at a diesel truck, you get all black and greasy. I was laying under the truck and, you know, getting down to business, and the neighbor saw me out there working, and he came over and he said, "So, hey, what you doing, Roxy?" And I scooted out from underneath the truck, and, you know, I was covered with grease, and of course, you know, I'm the type of girl that, yes, my hair was done, makeup on, nice clothes, though I wouldn't wear this, you know, I would wear my kind of more ratty clothes, but still very feminine. I had gloves, little rubber gloves on, but of course, you know, the ends always split where your nails come through, unfortunately. They're not really made for girls with nails. So I scooted out from underneath the truck full of oil and, you know, twigs and things in my hair because I was laying on the ground. And I said, "Well, I'm fixing a fuel leak," and he said to me, "God damn, girl, is there anything you can't do?" And I was a little flattered. Initially, I was a bit embarrassed to have to, you know, look like that in front of the neighbor, but after he said that, you know, I thought, well, yeah, you know, it's okay to do that. But I want to tell you, though, I transitioned at 47. Now that's 2.5 years ago. I don't know. Maybe it's coming up on 3. I don't know. I didn't really keep track of it. But I transitioned, and I thought that I had to shed the whole male persona completely. And changing the oil on the car was very difficult for me to get to do. The day that I would plan on doing it, I always did these things myself. The day that I actually planned on doing it, I'd get all grouchy and I'd be really actually pissy walking around the house thinking I got to do the oil, yuck. But after, it took a while, but after a year or two, I learned to appreciate the things that I have a talent for, and also, you know, incorporate the two, incorporate the female and male side, without discarding one or the other. You see, and when I was taught about the anima and the animus from a really nice counselor, I don't know if I said this, but his name was Michael, and he's really was on the ball and really aggressive with me, which at the time I needed. And I really appreciated learning about such things. And learning about that, everybody has these qualities within them, and it's just how they're nurtured or let grow within them. So it was quite a long process for me to get to where I am. That that I can be very feminine, and I feel good about myself, but I don't get real pissy. No more than anyone would, when having to do a job that they're not really thrilled with. Guy or girl, nobody likes to lay on the ground and get all greasy. It's just not that fun. It's not something we look forward to. Well, maybe there's some people out there that do. But the thing is, I've met so many transgender women that go from being very masculine to go to being uber or ultra feminine, and then they won't touch anything masculine, and I think that's okay. Everything about life is a personal decision, and whatever feels good to you and whatever's best for you is what you need to do. But what I want to tell you is it's really not necessary, and that you don't have to shed, if you're a male to female transitioner, you don't have to shed that masculine persona completely. Sure, let it be the less dominant of the two. In fact, let it be very much in the background. And if you're a female to male transitioner, you don't have to shed the female persona completely. Just let it subside into the background, and then incorporate the two when you can, because I understand it's really difficult. Incorporate the two, and embrace the two feelings, both male and female, and then life becomes actually somewhat easy, and you have no limitations, and you could be creative, and you could be pretty, and you could be you could get the job done, as a guy might. Well, not really as a guy. You have limitations. I can't lift as much as I used to be able to lift, and I might not be able to loosen the lug bolts on the tire or the wheel like I used to be able to. So you have to work. You can't work as hard. You sometimes have to work a bit smarter. Learn to use leverage and things like that. And well, anyways, that is what I wanted to cover today. And believe me, learning about the anima and the animus is an incredible lengthy discussion that we just can't cover in one segment. So I would suggest that this topic that I'm talking about right now is just the tip of the iceberg, really. And I'll try to eventually cover more topics in detail. But meanwhile, what I want to tell you is embrace your feminine side, and embrace your masculine side, and let the two cohabitate within your person, and let them both flourish and grow. And it's okay if you make one dominant and one not as dominant, but you don't have to discard them completely. Anyways, this has been Roxy Rose and Rosie, and she came with me. She came to me with the name Rosie, which makes it kind of difficult because when I'm calling out her name, sometimes I make a mistake and call her Roxy, and she's been a lot of fun to me, and we both have enjoyed each other's company lately. So we've become somewhat inseparable. But she is quite a distraction. And she's a flirt too. Anyways, this has been Roxy Rose, and we're talking about the feminine side and the masculine side, transitioning late in life, getting back on track, being happy with yourself. You know, girls and guys, it's never too late. Hold out hope and keep the faith, and someday your dreams will come true. And for those who are in a situation that they can't transition right at the moment or possibly ever, well, my heart goes out to you and best wishes, and you could still be happy within yourself and during your private time. And I love your comments. I'm sorry I have a hard time responding to comments left on YouTube, because most of my work nowadays is done with an iPhone, and it's so hard for me to get over there and you know, go through the motions to comment on a video. So email me directly. That's much quicker and much easier, and then I can respond to you directly instead of posting a response, because sometimes, you know, the comments, I would rather have a private discussion going on. So you could reach me at myroxyrose@gmail.com. That's myroxyrose@gmail.com. Or you can leave a comment on YouTube if you prefer. So I look forward to hearing from you, and this has been just a bit of a discussion. Like I said, it's just the tip of the iceberg, really, regarding the feminine and the masculine side. Love yourself, and love who you are and who you've become and who you're becoming, and love the female side of you, and you don't have to hate the male side of you. You don't have to. Love all of you with your whole heart, just like Roxy loves you. Anyways, this has been Roxy Rose talking about transitioning late in life, and we'll see you again soon, I hope. Bye-bye.